Hey, how's it going? This is Kellen here with another review tonight. Looking at one from Hill Farmstead Brewery. This is their Mosaic single hop IPA, coming in at 6%, I believe. Yeah, actually, it doesn't say on a can. I think it's 6%. They used to have most of their single hop pale ales they used to do were 5.5% area, I believe. But with these new canning runs they've been doing. They've kind of just changed a few of the recipes. Specifically, the hops that they're choosing. Sean Hill is a very meticulous individual in terms of getting his ingredients. And for the Citra release, for example, the last canning for single hop they did, he was mentioning how Citra hops have changed over the past years, and he was very selective in choosing a grower because of the microclimates that produce some of the classic characteristics you'd associate with a hop differ. So he was very selective about that, and apparently he did this, it's the same way with this version, the Mosaic. So I got it poured out, and by the way, they did start canning, and I think they were kind of rocky at first. They weren't very public, or they weren't very specific about what they were canning. They didn't have any release dates or anything, but now they've kind of got on top of that. And honestly, initially I thought that was because they were trying not to just draw hype, because it gets crowded enough at the brewery, and if they had canned releases, there'd be people lining up there in the middle, that morning. But they must have a big enough yield, or they must be brewing enough of it to where they, can hold on to it for a while. Because, for example, they just released some double IPA, and it's still there. This was 2 weeks ago. So, and I know a lot of people are buying it. So, they're probably making a ton of these cans. So I'm not exactly sure. Sorry, this is a little rant, a little background information, because some people are confused. Maybe some are now confused when they see these beers in a can. So yeah, just a little background information. This came on the 3rd, so we're 3 weeks in. It's a drink by 214. So yeah, it's good. Was it 5 weeks? Yeah, don't judge my math skills there. So let's get into it. So yeah, pours out. A nice hazy. I don't know. Kind of listened to beer last night. I had last reviewed last night the Propagator from Tilted Barn. Kind of like a mustardy kind of yellow. It's a little more, not quite as murky, but it's definitely full on haze. Also, a little disclaimer: this beer actually froze in my. I put it in a freezer, and it was set really cold apparently, and it actually froze, so I had to let it thaw out. But it looks fine so far. So just keeping that in mind while drinking this. So I have had a can of this already, so I know what it should taste like. So let's get into the aroma. So it smells perfectly good. Classic Mosaic. Kind of getting, that the kind of berry element. A little bit of dankness. I always get kind of a minerality, kind of dirtiness in Mosaic. That's kind of hard to describe. It's almost like this earthy kind of dank quality. That's not quite like that, that shivy kind of oniony thing, but yeah, it's kind of it has a dirty kind of refined smell, which I dig. It's like a classic Mosaic indicator. I mean, yeah, it's Sean Hill, all their beers, especially IPAs, are very good at isolating or just showcasing the hops, and aromatically speaking, it's just a textbook display of Mosaic. A little bit of sweetness, maybe from the malt, but again, it's really showcasing hop pretty perfectly. Okay, let's give it a taste. Cheers. Tastes fucking good. Okay, except for using to do anything to it. Classic Mosaic. Just getting rich fruitiness, leaning toward a mango, kind of peely, orange peely kind of thing on the back, with that kind of earthy, Mosaic-esque kind of bitterness. Very nice body for 6%. It's very smooth, very, very impactful flavor. Good ABV. It has the flavor profile of a double IPA in terms of what it's bringing to the beer. A little bit of malt character in there, just to kind of accentuate some of those hop flavors. But this is I'm not surprised. It's a very very it's an exemplary display of Mosaic. Citra was the same. I had a growler of that, but again, it was like a perfect, all the kind of like textbook notes you'd get from those hops. Sean is a wizard at kind of producing in his beers. And I guess he's attributing that to the sourcing with those hops, but again, like he's a genie of brewing. His process is down great, so I'm sure like I wouldn't have the palate to discern maybe something he would consider a not the best cultivator for that hop. But this is excellent. Again, like it's a perfect kind of display of the hop, and if you're looking for something that's not over the top. I mean, if you're not familiar with Phil Farmstead right now, let me get your head out of the sand. Get your head out of the sand. But he's just very, very good at displaying beers for what they kind of should be in a traditional sense. And I argue, I mean, I've probably said this before in a Hill Farmstead review, that I think he was essentially the first brewer and brewery that kind of started, one of the first that started New England style IPA. I think a lot of people don't appreciate that. He was the first hazy IPA I had, and that's maybe the Anecdotal. But along with the Ketty Topper and Alchemist beers, there were some of the first breweries out there that did it. And not even hoppy beers. Hill Farmstead, every single beer they produce is perfect for its style, in my opinion. I mean, any style, sours, if it's a farmhouse, if it's a stout, always well done. But yeah, this is like a 97 for me. I mean, Mosaic, I think I might have preferred the Citra, or if they do a Galaxy, I'll fucking love it. Mosaic's not it's probably like, I don't know, those three, Mosaic's my least favorite. But in terms of how it should taste, in my opinion, and kind of what you associate with this hop, it's can't be done any better. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that 97. It's the Mosaic Hill Farmstead. Till next time, guys. Cheers.